All right, welcome everyone to Avengers Assemble, a panel where we'll be discussing all things Marvel cosplay, how to get started in cosplay, what it takes to cosplay, meeting up with fellow cosplayers, and last but not least, how you can give back to your communities through cosplay via service events, hospital visits, or just, being someone's hero, making a young child in need smile, or at meeting Spider-Man, or even a fellow grown adult, going like, oh yeah, Spider-Man. Do a flip. Don't do a flip. That's not
required to do.
That's not why we go to the hospitals. And this panel is presented to you by the Avengers Initiative, who are a national fan organization of Marvel cosplay volunteers, of which our own Mark Chu-Lin and I are officers, and the lovely Judy Stephens at the end there here is an honorary member. We're on Facebook as Avengers Initiative and on Instagram as Avengers Cosplay. And within the Avengers Initiative are currently 3 local chapters spanning the country. Since we're right here now in California, you're in the home of the West Coast Avengers. This chapter is represented on our panel today by our wonderful Jen, Alice, and Krystyn. And it's a really big state, you might have heard. It's got the most people in it. So we have a lot of volunteer members here and in NorCal, but we could always use more. We're on Facebook as West Coast Avengers and Instagram as, might be blocked, but California Avengers. Then midway across the Pacific, we have a chapter in the great state of Hawaii, appropriately called Avengers Mid-Pacific, of which our commanding officer Coby has graciously traveled far to represent here. And we are on Facebook as Avengers Mid-Pacific and Instagram as Avengers.mid.pacific and Instagram as Avengers Mid-Pacific. And we have a chapter in the great state of Texas called Lone Star Avengers. Unfortunately, our lovely officers there are unable to make it to this WonderCon, but you can still check them out on the socials at Lone Star Avengers, both on Instagram and Facebook. And I thought I'd kick things off by having everyone here briefly introduce themselves, what they do and like to do in and out of cosplay. So I'll start. My name is Bryan. I am the head XO of Avengers Initiative. After joining the West Coast Avengers about 4 years ago, well, I found out about them 6 years ago, but I dragged my feet in joining them, plus there was a little pandemic you might have heard about. And normally when I'm not trying to rid New York of Spider-Man, as Mr. Negative, can you blame me? They keep trying to keep me from killing Norman Osborn. That's so bad a thing. I am a graphic artist and a photo retoucher and a violinist. And through to Mark.
Hi, my name is Mark Chu-Lin. I serve as the Avengers Initiative Head Commanding Officer. They're basically a group leader. I've been doing cosplay for over 25 years. For the Avengers Initiative, I joined over 10 years ago. Started with a simple costume called War Machine and just branched out to other stuff, including some guy you might know, Frank Castle the Punisher. So thanks for coming out.
Mark calls his War Machine simple because if you've seen it, it's really awesome and not simple. This beautiful costume. Closer, okay. I'm loud, but I've also been talking for 3 days. So, I'm Jen Athey. I am the director or the commander for the West Coast Avengers here in California. I also am a healthcare fraud investigator, so that's actually very fun. And yeah, so I've been with the West Coast Avengers for, I think we've actually just figured this out, it's been 7 or 8 years? Yeah, it's pretty wild. You forget everything because of COVID. Time is irrelevant anymore. I do Agatha just about every version you can think of, and if you can't think of it, it's coming. And then my other half of my personality is Peggy Carter, so if you can figure that out, good luck to you. And so when I'm not cosplaying, I'm organizing events for us to go cosplay at. And we're playing with my cat, Charlie. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hi guys, my name is Alice. I am Jennifer's deputy, which means that I'm usually running around doing a lot of behind the scenes work, making sure that we're squared away for all of the really cool events that we get to go do. I actually was an East Coast Avenger. We once upon a time had an East Coast Avengers team since 2016, I think. I've been cosplaying since 2015. I have roughly 4,000 Marvel costumes, it feels like. I love everybody. I'm such a huge Marvel nerd, so every time there's a cool female character, I sort of jump on it. You can sometimes see me as Sue Storm. I've done Captain Marvel a lot. I'm usually at the hospitals as Spider-Gwen. I have a very boring day job we won't talk about, but I also am a good LA kid. I'm a writer and a voice actor in my copious free time, so but mostly stay busy with West Coast Avengers, and also I'm playing with my cat usually. So that's it.
We're sending each other pictures of our
Also, lots of very, very official officer level communications about the cats. So, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Krystyn. I'm a volunteer member with the West Coast Avengers. I've actually only been cosplaying since about 2019, which was very surprising when I got into it because I was always the person with the most extra. Oh my god. 6 years. Like, it's not that long. I don't understand yourself. That's 6 years. I've been doing this for 4 days. It feels like that sometimes. And got started. Friends were like, you should do cosplay. You were always making these elaborate Halloween costumes, this and that. I'm like, oh right, that's a thing that you can do as a hobby. And like any ADHD girly, we dove right in. So I guess I've been cosplaying for 6 years. Wow, Zowie. I do a lot of Captain Marvel at our hospital visits, usually that because many of my Marvel cosplays are gender bent, so depending on the event, we can do that as well. And then recently adopted Agatha into the personality fold, and then outside of the West Coast Avengers and our service events, things like that, I am a photographer, cosplay and action sports photographer, and then I work with the Walt Disney Company. So got a lot of kind of make believe and play pretend in all aspects of my life.
Hi everyone, I'm Coby. I'm the commanding officer of the Avengers Mid-Pacific. Let's see, in my normal day job, I'm a 4th grade teacher. And then, off the clock, I like building things, so cosplay really fell into that. I've been cosplaying for about a little over 10 years. And then at some point, our commanding officer at the time, Kato, had said, oh, you should, come join Avengers Mid-Pacific. So I joined in. It goes from there.
Hi, I'm Judy. I have been cosplaying for over 20 years. I discovered it when I was in high school in 2000, 2003. But my sort of key to fame is I worked at Marvel for 15 years. I was the cosplay wrangler when I was there, back before the word cosplay became a name known within the world. And at WonderCon, I did Marvel Becoming, Marvel Cosplay covers, anything that was cosplay that you saw on the Marvel socials, I was behind. And thanks to Mark and these guys, I've obviously been able to feature incredible cosplay on the site over the years. And as part of that, I released my first book, Cosplay the Marvel Way, that came out last summer, that features some of these guys, and it's just a how-to into cosplay. And then I have another book with Marvel that I'm co-writing with Margaret Stoll and Janine Schaefer. That's all about the history of women who worked at Marvel, specifically within the comic spring, and that's called Super Visible, the story of the women of Marvel, and it comes out this summer. Yes, I did a lot of things at Marvel, and now I'm running around as Captain Marvel, which is what I'm mostly known for, so.
I was going to mention, I'm glad you mentioned Cosplay the Marvel Way. Well, I know you have the cover right there, but we also have some examples that you were gracious to send us from the book itself. It's a really great read. And especially considering, as you mentioned, it features many of our own Avengers Initiative members. I was flipping through, going like, oh, there's Brett, my cosplay dad, because he's Wenwu in there. I definitely do Shang-Chi as well.
But yeah, no, I just wanted to address a bit of the elephant in the room that many of us are big fans of your work. I really dug your Women of Marvel podcast, especially where you go into your history with Marvel as a producer for them, for their content, and for their YouTube. And so thank you so much for joining us, and especially for all the great work that you've done with us.
I mean, I could do it without you guys. Like, that's the truth of Marvel, and even today with the hundreds of millions of views that the announcement just got literally this week. But like, Marvel is all about the fans, and that was the one thing that I always rang true when I was there, and was an incredible experience to go to conventions and see everyone in costume. So, yay! But I'm happy to be here.
And I also kind of wanted to go down for each of you guys and just kind of talk. I mean, some of you touched on it a little bit, but talk about your very first cosplays, like why, how, what they were, or also just kind of how you first got into this madness that we're all doing here. So yeah, if you want to start, Mark.
Sure. So for me, I went kind of nuts. My first Marvel outfit was a War Machine cast outfit. Weighs about 70 pounds. I had a friend of mine in the prop community added LED lights, motors, and stuff like that. The reason why I said it's simple, I'm more of a logistics person. My specialty is event planning, project coordination. So I know what I've got, I know how to put it on, but if you ask me to build it, that's another thing. That's the nice thing about the community. There are a lot of people out there on message boards, social media pages that have good ideas or can help you build something. I've been with the group for over 10 years now. Started out as a member, chapter officer, now I'm the leader for the whole entire thing. Just so I can help facilitate activities, but also just move around more easy. Did different activities, so Wong from Doctor Strange, longtime fan is Captain America, and as a kid, I liked the Punisher. So I dusted off an outfit I haven't worn in over 20 years, Frank Castle, just so I could, be on a panel like this, especially if you dare go back to the, the MCU. Glad to see him back. So I should be one of my favorite characters. So for me, when I look at an outfit, because I'm old school in the sense that I read the comics as a kid, how can I as a person kind of emulate that character and bring it to life? So I'm glad to participate, do that myself, and work with people who want to share that fandom. So, yeah.
I didn't realize your War Machine was your first. You did start out crazy.
Yeah, so when I applied to join the group, I just had it for a year, like, oh, there's a Marvel group, because I'm involved with other groups that do media and service activities. Like, well, the only Marvel outfit I have is my War Machine, so I'll turn it in. And I got high praise and accepted. So yeah, that was my first outfit for the Avengers Initiative.
And that's what I met you in, Mark, at War Machine at WonderCon in San Francisco. Some of the first photos I took of cosplay.
Yeah, that was over 10 years ago. Yeah,
yes, that was more than 10 years ago.
Beauty of cosplay brings us all together. Jen?
So there are no existing photos of my actual first cosplay because it was, I think I did the math right here.
Oh, I thought this was it. You're Peggy.
That's my first Marvel cosplay. My first cosplay was in 1996, and it was Agent Dana Scully. Yeah. That predates both my children, and yeah, so there's no existing photos of that. Somewhere maybe, but not that I have. So yes, but this is my first Marvel cosplay, and there was a gap because, like I said, I had a couple kids, and so I was busy. And I decided, I needed a hobby. And I really loved the character of Peggy a lot. She meant a lot to me. So I was like, well, this looks fun. I want to do this. And my daughter was cosplaying at the time, and I was talking to her about it, and she was having fun. I think she was, 12 or 13, maybe 14. And she's like, hey, you should do it, Mom, you should do it. I'll help you. And I'm like, okay, you'll help me, how? And she actually had some really good ideas. So yeah, I got into, first it was just like finding pieces and buying them, and then it was commissioning them. And a lot of people have a lot of really great skills, sewing, drafting patterns. I like to say I work really hard at my job to make good money to pay other people to do that for me. Because I can do some props. I mean, I really put together this fantastic bracelet with safety pins, a pin, and a leather strap today in like 10 minutes. But, you know, I can make props, I can make jewelry, I can do things on the fly. I can sew. We're not there yet though. But I can do other things, and I can organize, and I can get people together. I can talk to anyone. I've never met a stranger. And I can get a group of people together to go and cheer up some kids who are in a hospital bed and can't go trick-or-treating, or, you know, it's Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So that is what I bring to cosplay. But yeah, so Peggy Carter means a lot to me. That was my first cosplay, and I have just grown from there. I have many versions of her. When they brought her back as Captain Carter in What If, it was the best day, but it was also, I could hear my wallet sobbing. And I was right. It was right. My wallet was right. But yeah, I love it. It's just such a fun hobby, and it lets my inner stifled theater kid, because my mom never let me do that. So now I'm like, haha, you don't get to say anything about it, Mom, because I'm a grown up with a job. So yeah, and it's actually opened a lot of doors for me that I never thought it would open. As far as, I mean, just things that aren't even related to cosplay, which is great. And I'm learning a lot of things I didn't think I would, and I'm loving it, and yeah, I'm having a great time with it. All because I watched a Marvel movie, went to a convention, had an idea to put on a costume, met somebody who said, do you know you can volunteer in cosplay? And I'm like, you mean I can justify spending this money? And then here we are.
Alice?
Yeah, so I did things pretty backwards. I went to Dragon Con in 2013 as press. If you guys know, you've been to Dragon Con, that's not a starter con. And I was writing for a video game website at the time. Cosplay seemed something kind of not for me, right? I started cosplay when I was 30. I'm 41 now. I felt, there was something in my brain. I was like, I'm too old. Like, this is not for me, right? Banish all of that. None of that's true. Whatever you think might be true about cosplay, like, get it out of your brain. It's for everybody. And I was sitting there, like, working my butt off at Dragon Con as press, and I will tell you, if y'all are video gamers, like, there was a Dragon Age group, and they had everybody. There was like 15 of them, and I was like, those people are having more fun than I'm having, right? And that was literally the light bulb moment. I was like, these people are having the best freaking time, and they're putting their fandom on their bodies and being able to meet other people who love fandom so much. So I went back, I tried to convince my friends back in DC to do cosplay with me. 2014, couldn't get anybody, and finally I was like, fine, I'm gonna go figure this thing out on my own. I went to Dragon Con in 2015 by myself, didn't know anybody. I was wild. I ordered costumes. My first 3 costumes were Shell from Portal, Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite, and Ciri from Witcher 3. I put my scar on the wrong side. I was doing it wrong by some people's standards. There is no wrong cosplay. I know, yeah, it was just like, everything was chaotic, but had the best time. And then the next year, Peggy was my first Avenger Peggy was my first Avengers cosplay, Marvel cosplay. And I was walking down the street at Dragon Con that year, and a girl, 10-year-old girl, came up to me, tears in her eyes. She said, Peggy means so much to me, and it means so much to me to see a Peggy here. And I was like, oh no, this is it, there we go, right? And then that year, there was a panel very much like this one at AwesomeCon in DC with East Coast Avengers. Liam was there, Mark, East Coast Avengers members. And again, another light bulb. They were talking about how you can volunteer at hospitals and things in costume. And I was like, whoa, I can wear my costumes outside of just like a couple of year conventions. And the rest is history. I'm a member of a couple of other groups. Last year I did 70 some odd events over the course of the year. Once the bug hits, both cosplay and volunteering, and then the Venn diagram of the two, like once it's in your veins, you can't kick it. So I've been, I went in, much like Mark, I didn't start with War Machine, but like nobody should start. But I, jumped in the deep end, and again, like Jen, just the stuff we're able to do through volunteering, but also just the joy that comes with cosplay. I do a lot of other cosplays, a lot of other fandoms, but like the Marvel fandom is extra special. So yeah, that's my origin story.
My first cosplay was Neon Captain Marvel from the Captain Marvel movie that is in the film for 3 seconds. And I was like, I must have it. With 0 skills, I hadn't learned how to sew, I hadn't made this and that. So I thought, well, what if I just buy the suit like it is and I'll paint it? Because it's like it's just like coloring, I'll paint it. Sure, no problem. Well, I didn't realize that painting spandex is really hard because it will just suck in all the paint. So flash forward about 200 hours later, because not only did I have to use so much paint, but had to do white paint under all the colors to get the neon to have the right opacity. And I was like, yes, this will be easy. I have the skills to do this. I initially bought the lights for it. So I still have in a box the EL wire, because right out the gate I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do the full lit up suit. I've never done anything.
That's like starting with War Machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Neon Captain Marvel is my War Machine. And you can't put the EL wire on spandex. That's a fun tip, because EL wire needs a little more structure to be held. So I still have a box of it. I'm going to remake that suit now that I am 6 years into this, and feel like I have the skills to do it. But it really unlocked, like I said, kind of that nerdy theater kid that I always was, but the fact that we could then turn it into a charity opportunity to visit kids in hospitals, go to service events, just bring some happiness and joy where things, kids are having a tough time especially. Those are my favorite things. And I got to bring out my creativity, which was so fun for me. So even though that suit took me so long to paint, I was like, I can do this in a couple days, right? And just painting forever and ever. But it was all blacklight reactive paint. So I got to bring like a blacklight with me. I was like, it really does light up, I swear. So that kind of really unlocked it for me. And since then, I like to build on what I say, audacity and a dream. So if you're cosplaying and you see a thing and you're like, wow, I don't have any of these skills, you can find them on the internet. And with enough audacity, which you should just you have it. It's better, and who cares? You've never tried this thing, and a lot of times things work out a lot better than you think. So if I see we have a lot of cosplayers in the audience, of course, but if you're like, I'm a little scared to jump right in and do it. You'll have so many people to support you, and you'll meet so many cool people with cool skills to share, and it's such a neat community to be part of, and especially on the Marvel side of things, and I'm very grateful for that.
Coby?
So, over 10 years ago, we only had one Comic-Con a year in Hawaii, and so when I had gone to it, I didn't cosplay, and I thought, wow, these people are having so much fun here. And so I thought, I want to do something like that. And then eventually, that movie X-Men First Class came out, so I thought, I could do Magneto. And I made his helmet out of oak tag and aluminum foil, or aluminum tape. And then when I got to the con, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks bad. So, I was like, oh no, they're doing a Marvel shoot, and I was like, I don't know if this is good enough. And then one of the Avengers Mid-Pacific people was like, oh hey Magnus, get in here. So it was that inviting spirit was really what helped me get into the hobby and stay in it. And then over time, like they said, you could go online, you can learn things, learn how to build things, new strategies. There's also people you can talk to, just making friends, asking people how'd you build that, and so on. Eventually, I made a X-Men First Class Professor Xavier flight outfit, and then Kato was one of our officers of Avengers Mid-Pacific, and then he was like, hey, I have this crew where we go out to hospitals and whatnot and volunteer. Do you want to join? And I was like, I don't think this is good enough, but he was like, it's fine, let me take pictures, and then, he helped me get in. So from there, joining them, going to different hospitals and volunteering, that was a neat way of using crafting to make other people happy. And some people are having a real rough time in the hospitals, and if you can bring a smile to their face for just an hour, half an hour, it really makes a difference to them, and it's rewarding to yourself too. So yeah, that's pretty much how I kept going in Avengers Mid-Pacific.
So my first cosplay was Rose from Titanic in 1998. The word cosplay didn't exist. My mother is a seamstress, so I convinced her to make the dress. It's the dress that she wears as she's trying to jump off the ship. So I was very specific. I wanted that dress. I still own it. Do not fit in it, obviously. But then years later, I got into anime, and friends from high school were going to Anime North in 2004, and I went there with my film camera, and I was like, oh, people cosplay. This is really cool, like the same theme, right, this community element. And then over the years, I realized I wanted to take photos of cosplayers. So back when cosplay.com was a thing, I made friends with a local New York City crew and started going to cons. And this was like 2007. So, these people that I met at that convention are my best friends. I'm still friends with them today. They don't cosplay anymore. They have kids. They're a full family now. They're incredible. But over the years, as a photographer specifically, I took photos to meet people. And then you just start gathering this incredible community of people, and then you travel the world, and then I have friends in New Zealand and London and France and Africa. Like, it's absolutely incredible experience. And then I put my camera down about 10 years ago. I still take photos here and there, but I really wanted to enjoy my experience as a cosplayer. I had made the community that I wanted, but now I wanted to have fun. Like Dragon Con, man, talk about the best convention. I mean, obviously it is a convention that is a lot. It's nonstop, it's incredible, but every year I go, no matter what's happening in my life, what's happening in the world, it reminds me about the incredible humanity of just community and us coming together, like everyone complimenting each other on their cosplay, and I did a bunny suit for the first time, and everyone was complimenting me. Also, one of the hardest things to ever sew is a bunny suit. I'll record that 100%. And now I that's my thing now, is I still love to be, obviously an advocate for cosplay, but now I like to have fun and learn new things and learn new skills. And at the same time, I love to pay my friends to also make me things, because that's what adulting is. And that's sort of I'm not pitching my book all the time, but I think that's a key thing, is that not every cosplayer is good at everything. And I think that's really important. I think there are some cosplayers that are incredible at everything, and props to you, that is not me. I cannot manage a wig. I pay someone to make me a wig, and it's great, and I love it. And 3D printing is not my thing. I love to be able to support my friends and work with them so they can make me 3D printed objects. I mean, also 3D printing has fully changed the way cosplay was. When I joined my age, when I joined cosplay, you hand Sharpied wigs. You couldn't go on JeffBezos.com and buy a wig. You really truly had to depend on the community, and cosplay.com was an incredible space for that. There were other forums too, there were great community spaces, but social media has truly opened the door for us to be able to if I don't know how to sew a specific type of sleeve, I just go online, and there's someone on TikTok or YouTube walking me through the process, and I think that's so important. I have met so many people who, after they've had children, their children are older, have decided to join cosplay, and I think that's so incredible, because I think it's so important that no matter who you are, where you are in life, you can join us. You can be a cosplayer, and you don't have to have a serger and an embroidery machine and all the different things. You can join, and it's incredible. And the community and my friends that I have now are so great, and I love this. I love cosplay. Okay, yes, that's my stuff.
Great, thanks so much. And I'm glad you guys also addressed, all of you kind of touched on a lot of the issues that people will have sometimes. I'm sure all of you guys as cosplayers have dealt with people who are interested in joining cosplay, but are held back by all sorts of different fears about it. And it's, and it is a problem in the community that there are folks who can be very gatekeepy about it, sometimes people are afraid to do cosplays because of certain body types or also self-consciousness. Like you all have addressed this, like Judy, you talked about it right there about how people are just like, I don't have all these skills to do all this. Like I don't know how people do all this. Well, I'll be honest. I didn't. My buddy Malachi there did the bulk of the work on this. I helped out as much as I could, but sometimes we don't have all the tools and the skills available to us. At the same time, we can also learn. We can, Krystyn, you talked about like having to get into sewing and having to. Sometimes you just jump in the deep end a little bit and just sort of hit the ground running, and that's the best way to actually to learn sometimes. Just to dive in, especially in this day and age now. There's tutorials for everything on YouTube. Like hell, I used it the other day just to like change my brake pads. So so yeah, I just kind of from all you guys, like if any of you guys have anything that you would sort of suggest to people who might be have trepidations about for various reasons of getting into cosplay, like how do you sort of answer to a lot of their
Just do it. I think, and this question comes up a lot, like, if you were thinking about it, just do it. Start somewhere, right? Like, I am completely self-taught. I sew a lot these days. I think people consider me a seamstress or whatever the...
She's very, very good.
Thank you. University of YouTube, right? Like everything that I know comes from YouTube and a little bit from my mother, right? Like, but absolutely everything that I know how to do, and like literally, last night I'm also on YouTube looking for whatever, right? But I think we get in our own heads so much about cosplay because especially here in LA, there's so many people who are professional, right, or cosplay famous, and we sort of laugh about these terms a lot. Like cosplay is for fandom, cosplay is for fun, cosplay is for sharing your love of costuming and the thing that you are celebrating, right? So shut those people out. Those are the edge cases, right? Most of the community is a really loving, beautiful, wonderful community that wants to help you celebrate that thing that you really love. So get out there, wear a t-shirt, put on a wig, right? Like just do part of a costume. Start somewhere, get over that initial hump, and then you'll see, and then you'll be in it. And there's so many, we were talking about the Jeff Bezos of it all, like not for nothing, like the ability to get cosplay supplies these days is just, I used to go down, I lived in like the DC metropolitan area, and I went down to the wig shop, y'all know, like the wig shop, and I would pay $200 for a hard front wig because that was like what I had access to 10 years ago. I know, it's wild. And like, you can get really good wigs from Mr. Bezos these days. And like, you have friends out there. I promise you have friends who are trying to get rid of some of these things. And like, just start. That was my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That was my really long-winded way of saying like, just get in there and do it. If you are thinking about it, just get over that hump, do it. We will help you. Reach out to any one of us. Come get our socials. We will help you. We are here to help you. Just do it. We want to see you cosplaying next time, all of you.
Also, it's like okay to purchase. I just want to say it's perfectly okay.
100%.
Some of the costumes from China are incredible.
I thought she said cocaine too. She said it's okay to purchase. She might have also said it's cocaine to purchase. Yeah.
No need for here.
I'm really glad you're addressing that because that was the next thing I wanted to talk about is that like the buying versus making basically, and a lot of people can be again very gatekeepy about that, about like it's not really cosplay, but that is not true.
True that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not to mention you can get one of those cosplays and you can make adjustments. You can make it your own. You can zhuzh it up a little. Yeah, Krystyn, you were talking about like, getting that Captain Marvel suit and then painting it, making it your own. So I'm glad you addressed that as well, Judy. Like there's nothing wrong about buying a cosplay, and yeah, a lot of them are really amazing.
Dragon Con, obviously there are a lot of people at Dragon Con who make their costumes, but a lot of costumes at Dragon Con, because like 89% of the people at that show have bought costumes, specifically the costumes you wear at night, because you're not going to spend hundreds of hours on a costume and then go out and drink in it. Like obviously you don't have to drink in it, but it's I've definitely bought a costume. Like it takes a couple weeks from China, put that in your schedule, make sure it's got to go through customs at some point. But they're fun to wear, and it doesn't matter. Like, and if anyone judges you for it, like screw them. Who cares?
100%.
also Mark, I know you like, well actually, I believe that's your war machine right there.
Yeah, it is.
Simple.
Yeah, so can you talk a little bit about the armor too?
His
About how
first
you get to-
costume.
Yeah, so in my case, you know, I've been a Iron Man and War Machine fan since I was a kid. I went to DragonCon a while ago, and the nice thing about that particular venue, you have some people who go, they make their own stuff, and they highlight it at night for people to see, and you know, just hanging out with some friends in one of the lobbies of one of the host hotels, these guys popped out in various hours, like, oh my goodness, like this is like, as much as I love seeing, you know, a movie on a screen, it just blew my mind to see this in person. And you know, I made contact with the folks who made this stuff, and like, hey, you guys do commissions? And I says, so if you look at particularly the MCU version of the War Machine, it's an adapted Iron Man armor. So my particular suit is based off the Mark III, or the last suit that Tony wears in the first Iron Man movie. But you know, how Jim Rhodes is, you know, you tweak it out to how you want it to be for what you want to use it at. And even when I got it, you know, I talked again with my prop friends, like, hey, I want to make some tweaks in terms of lighting, in terms of my unibeam, my eyes, like, you know, my Gatling gun, when I push a button, the barrels roll, and there's some sound effects and stuff like that. The idea is, whether it be a convention or I did use it at service events, the idea is it helps bring the character to life. But we also have other folks in our group, you know, to 3D print, custom paint, other folks on sculpted foam. One of the gentlemen here who helped Bryan, I had a fantastic suit as well, another War Machine armor wearer, made his suit on his own, fantastic skills. Just, there's a lot of talent out there, and that's what I'm saying. You know, see something, learn how it's done, and do what works for you. One of our folks, prop panelists, is you have usually 2 or 3 things: time, money, and resources, and that's what you need to kind of figure out. Like, what do I want to do, and how do I go about doing it? So.
Yeah, we're running a little low on time, so I did want to touch really quick. Coby, I know you over at Avengers Mid-Pacific, these are some examples of the group cosplays that you've been able to sort of wrangle together, which you know, I'm impressed by, like, especially some of these group shots that you guys have been, group meetups that you guys have been able to pull off. It's very impressive, especially given, like, I know I've tried to do that myself for a Shang-Chi group shoot that I swear was like herding cats. And we didn't quite get everybody, you know, there together, but yeah, no, I just wanted to showcase some of the great photo shoots you guys have been doing. I don't know if you have any pointers for getting everybody together to do these kind of shoots, but.
Well, I think in Hawaii, because there's a lot less opportunities to participate in something like this, when the opportunity comes out, more people jump at it. That's one thing. As for, you know, I don't know if that's happening here, but in Hawaii, the cons are getting very expensive too. So we've started to have like photo shoots outside of cons, where we'll go to like some outside venue and we'll just invite people to show up and join us. So that, you know, sometimes that gets people out too. Just knowing like, hey, I don't have to buy a badge for this. I can just come and, you know, meet people who are interested in the same fandom as I am.
I do want to skip over to talk about service events. I know we often, you know, we talk a little bit about it amongst our panelists about bringing smiles to the faces of people of any age. You know, especially it's always great to see the kids' faces light up, and it's fellow adults too. I mean, we're all nerds here too. We all are fans, and it's always a joy to see. You know, to bring those smiles to people's faces. Can we talk a little bit about like what that's like to, especially when you have to engage with children in a matter of staying in character and stuff? Jen, hopefully, if you have anything to talk about those kind of challenges, what kind of things you need to bring when you are doing service events with children?
Yeah, so one of the things that we look for in our members is people who choose their characters because the character is someone that's important to them or that they identify with, because then I know when they go into those service situations, they're going to be able to like embody that character a little more. You don't have to look exactly like the character or sound like the character. I can't do a British accent to save my damn life, but I can still go out and be Peggy Carter. I'm not out there saving the world. I'm just stopping some healthcare fraud here and there. Getting some money back from some shady doctors and stuff. But it's still it's more going into that room and giving that kid a moment out of their, or adult, because we actually on one of our visits to one of the kids' hospitals, Chalk serves kids up to 22. So kids. So they had a patient who was over 20 and was excited that we came in, and had a very similar name. So to I think their last.
His name was Carter.
His first name Carter.
His first name was Carter, so he was thrilled to see Captain
Carter, and it was just a cool moment, like with someone who you wouldn't have. A lot of times, teenagers are older, they're like, I don't know. So it's fun, and you kind of embody the character. Now, putting on Agatha is the most fun I've had in my entire life. Because you can just be sassy and a little mean, but fun mean, and nobody gets mad about it because you're Agatha, and so it's great. But that's what we look for, have a character that you can have fun with, that you know, and that you enjoy, and then you can bring that to other people.
Great. And yeah, since we're coming up on time, I just figure, what can you talk, Jen and Alice particularly too, especially here for the West Coast Avengers. What do we require to join, and how can people join?
A Marvel costume?
We basically a vibe check, right? Like we, unlike a lot of other clubs that we don't have costume requirements. You don't have to be beautifully screen accurate, right? We look for people who can, like Jen said, embody that character, right? Is a kid gonna think that you are Doctor Strange here, right? Like, is it something where like, oh, I mean, I don't, like, do I look like Brie Larson? No, but like, our kid's gonna look at us and be like, that's Captain Marvel. Absolutely, right? So you don't have to be perfectly screen accurate. There are gazillion, that's an actual number, of Marvel costumes in the world, right? Like every comic variant, right? We're not in the business of telling you what your costumes need to look like, but we want to know that you're in it for the right reasons. So we have a great membership council with a couple member. Katie, raise your hand. Anybody? Henry, like we have some folks on our membership council in the room. We'd be happy to talk to you outside afterwards. Oh, Tom, yeah, sorry. I can't look, man. There's a lot going on up here. Anyway, we have some of our great members here who'd love to talk to you about that. It's really important because these are people you're hanging out with, right? We might do several events a month, and we want you to be part of our family, but we want to know that you want to be part of our family for the right reasons, because we want to be able to hang out with you. We want to talk about Marvel stuff. Like, we're big nerds, if you could not tell up here, right? Like, and we want you to be nerds too, right? And we want you to be nerds who want to do service events. So that's what when I say vibe check, we have it's like a 30-minute interview. We work with you in your schedule. And that's really it, right? Have a Marvel costume, be a cool person.
Say, as someone who gets to participate, kind of working under and with Alice and Jen and our whole council as a volunteer member, first of all, they do so much work. They're amazing, always keeping the ship afloat. But they're so welcoming, and it really is that vibe check. Like, are you there to show up, bring smiles to people's faces, work together with your other cosplayers, and have a good attitude and have fun?
Yeah.
And like, it's because
we are a team.
Yeah,
we are the Avengers. We are a team. Like, if we were going into a hospital, we are a team. If we were going to Ronald McDonald House, we are a team. We are a team. We're a team. So like, when you join our team, you join our team. So, there's some meetings sometimes. New guy brings donuts, so just keep that in mind.
But they're virtual meetings, so figure that one out.
And thank you again to all my panelists here. Thank you to everyone who came.
Come talk, if you want to join the Avengers, whether you're in California or anywhere else, we'll be hanging out outside a little bit afterwards. Come talk to us. A lot of I see so many of our great. I see San Diego members, I see NorCal members. Please come talk to us. We would love to talk to you about joining if you're interested, or even just about cosplay. Come chat with us. We're very approachable. We try to be. Except for Agatha. Agatha. Thank you guys.
All right, thank you everyone.